Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jeff, the guy from Reston. As you can see, my hair is getting longer and stuff like that. That's what Jeff, you know, T.G.F.R stands for. You know. Anyways, on the title of this video, okay, I think we need to talk about something that's very serious that happened a few days ago, and I think we need to talk about it because people are getting mad and upset, and all I've got to say is that I think this does need to be said because the young man that was shot down in Georgia, Ahmaud Arbery, after looking at the video myself and understanding the statistics around it and everything, the two gentlemen that shot this man while he was jogging should have been charged with a crime. Maybe not murder, but they should have been charged with a crime. Number one, you are private. Number one, these two people, even though the father was a retired police officer, he was still a private citizen. And I don't care where you are, being that you're a private citizen, you do not have the right to go out there and pretend to play police officer. They were number one, they were wearing no uniform. They were in civilian clothes. They were on their truck. They saw this young man jogging down a neighborhood that they said looked like a burglary suspect, which I don't know. What I do know is that I saw that video that got released. And I hate to say this, but maybe they were acting in good faith, but you can't affect a citizen's arrest, at least as far as I know, anywhere in the country, unless, of course, you witness the commission of the crime. You just can't go after what you believe to be a suspect later on. You have to have viewed this person committing that crime. And that's what's the shame in all this, is the fact that, we have police officers. I mean, they just as easily could have gotten on a cell phone, dialed their police department and said, hey, listen, I'm retired officer such and such. I believe that the suspect here, we're following him in my pickup truck. He's jogging down such and such road. And then the cops would come and they would pull the guy. They would go talk to Ahmaud Arbery. They would find out what he was doing, where he lives. He probably lived in that neighborhood. Maybe not on the street, but he probably lives in that neighborhood. So the thing is, for these people to go out there and do that to this young man while he was jogging down the street, you don't have any right to do that. And yes, is it murder? Absolutely. You do not have the right as a citizen to basically go and affect a citizen's arrest on a person or persons without having to witness the crime that they did. And you just can't go after somebody who's minding his own business, jogging down the street. And this guy was trying to avoid the other two men to begin with. And for them to have shot him while he was unarmed, well, that's murder right there. You can't just go and shoot somebody unarmed. And if you look at it from a point of view that is really bad, this young man should have never have been shot. These two men that were, maybe in good faith, they were out trying to find a suspect. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think anybody would be out looking for a suspect. But what I do think that is very, very important is us to understand that as a private citizen, you cannot go and effect an arrest like a police officer. First of all, you have to witness the crime, the person doing the crime. That's the first thing you must witness. Then, if it's available to effect a citizen's arrest, you can. More than likely, the best thing to do is call a police officer and then effect a citizen's arrest and let the police officer apprehend the individual that committed the crime or individuals. That would be the best way to go about it. Yes. Um, these two men that shot this young black man, Ahmaud Arbery, in Georgia, all I've got to say is, you guys, you screwed up. You know you did. If I were you, I would be going. I don't understand why the DA didn't press charges. Should have. Look, if it even if you wanted to take into account that you were actually hunting down somebody that was a burglar, you know, and take that into effect, there's no excuse for shooting an unarmed person who is just out jogging. There's no excuse for it at all whatsoever. So I just want to say that to Ahmaud Arbery's family, I'm very, very sorry that this happened. Um, for what these other two men did to your son, there was no excuse for it, and they should be charged for the crime, definitely. Um, you know, uh, that's I'm sorry. That's just the way it is, and I wish there was something that could change what happened. But it seems to me the public officials in your city basically are not doing what they're supposed to do, because these two men should have been apprehended, arrested, and that's that. Just because the man is a former retired police officer does not give you the right to go and start gunning people down because you believe they committed a crime. You have to basically turn around. You are a private citizen. You have to go and you have to show that this person committed that crime. You cannot stand here and go after somebody after the fact. And just to see somebody walking down the street that you might believe it could be, you don't know. So, to the attorney who released the video where this young man was running down the street, um, you know, if they had just left him alone and let him go jogging, I'm sure nothing would have happened. But they overstepped their bounds, they overstepped their authority, and they got no choice. When you go and shoot somebody in cold blood like that, and that was a cold blooded shooting. Now, while this man was probably trying to get away from you, and that's more than likely while he was just trying to get the gun out of your hand, so he wasn't going to get shot. Unfortunately, it turned around where he ended up getting shot. You cannot do that as a private citizen. That's murder. I couldn't do that as murder. you know so I feel sorry for his parents. I'm sorry that the wheels of justice are turning so slowly, because these two people should have been arrested and processed. Um, I could understand it maybe not being first degree murder, but if it was like second degree murder or something like that, because they were actually searching for a suspect. Um, you know, so, you know, I'm sorry the boy just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm real sorry for this young man. I'm sorry I shouldn't have called him boy, but the young man should have never have been. Uh, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Stuff like this does happen. Um, to the two people that shot this young man, I just want to say that um, you all know better. You should have turned yourselves into the DA right away, because you actually shot and murdered this young man. Throwing yourself down on the mercy of the court might give you some leniency in jail or prison. And, you know, and I have to think about this young man's mother and how she is just totally destroyed, because you basically wanted to think that anybody who was black jogging down the street is a suspect. And you can't just do that. So I am sorry. But things do happen. So let's hope that the wheels of justice will turn soon enough, and by next month these men will be charged with a crime, and hopefully the wheels of justice will have these men in court within a month or two after that, and then serving, and then hopefully getting convicted of a murder charge. Anyways, I just want to say that, and I've already said it, I'm sorry, but it's just a tragedy when you see something like this happen. But for those people out there who want to take the law into their own hands, I've got a message for you. You are not Superman. You are not Super Cop. Okay? If you want to play policeman, go and apply to a police academy, learn how to be a police officer, and basically go and do what you got to do. But do not go and play Super Cop when you are a civilian, because you don't know the law concerning deadly force. You don't know what's going on. And, now that's one thing. When someone enters your home, no problem. Pull out whatever pistol you use for home defense, and just, go ahead and spray that, give him one warning to get out. And if he doesn't want to go, then, put a couple across his chest, but for what happened there that I saw in the video, I just shook my head and I just said, my God, we cannot tolerate stuff like this in this country. And I know maybe that some of these people will think that I'm being nice, but I'm not. And I honestly think that these two men that shot this young man while he was out jogging, they definitely need to be charged with a crime, and they need to go to court, and it needs to be settled in the court of law. This is why we have laws. This is why we have courts to enforce them, and police officers to enforce these laws. You just can't stand there and take the law into your own hands. I mean, I know we all would love to in certain situations, but you just can't take the law in your own hands, because you could end up being charged with murder like these two men that shot this other young man who was out jogging. And I am very, very sorry that this happened. It shouldn't have happened, and the thing is, if they believed that this young man who was jogging was a suspect in home break-ins and stuff like that, why didn't they just get on the horn and call the local PD to have this kid picked up? Then there wouldn't have been an issue. He would have come by, the kid would have surrendered, it would have gone downtown, it would have been a big hassle, but then again, they would have found out that this kid was totally innocent. They probably would have dropped him off at home after the fact, because they took him away from home. So that's all that is. When I saw the video, I just shook my head, because I just thought, oh my God. So I'm hoping that the officials in Georgia, or in that town in Georgia there, will basically do the right thing. Charge these men with a crime, and let the courts work it out. And hopefully these gentlemen will be convicted of something. I'm sorry to say this, but you cannot go and shoot somebody in cold blood, even if you're thinking you're trying to play cop. You can't do it. And you can't go after somebody because you're not a police officer. Even if you are a retired police officer, can't do it. It's illegal for you to do that. Just get on the horn, call the local PD, tell them who you are, and let them go down there and make the arrest. I mean, there was no reason to shoot this young man who was jogging. And, I'm sorry, but you know, I'm really big on law enforcement. I'm pro law enforcement, but when people take the law in their hands and do something like this, it's wrong. It's definitely wrong, and the public officials in that town need to step up and do their job. You know, as coronavirus is putting you know, stopping a lot of people from doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I just wanted to say that thank you, and I hope that you will. I just want to say thank you, and I hope that you will get a chance to watch this video of how this young man did try to defend himself while these two other men attacked him. And what they did was wrong, and they need to be charged with a crime. And that's all I'm going to say on the issue. Y'all take care. God bless. Have a good night. Jeff, the guy from Reston, signing off.